Good morning. So I'm Jeande Blanquat. I'm one among many editors at IDE Infographic agency in Paris. IDE is the main agency of this type now in France. There are many few agencies of this type in France, so we are one of the best, of very few. IDE sells all types of infographics to all types of clients, but mainly media, and had the specificity of being composed not only by graphic designers, but also by editors, and some real professionals like Laurent. I hope you will excuse my poor Franglish and my bizarre pronunciation. French people are the best for speaking bad English. If you don't understand, please do interrupt. The good thing is I used to speak very quickly in French, and in English it's impossible for me. So, infographics, first chapter would be what does it mean? For the word is problematic. Infographics are those strange objects you can find everywhere now in the press, on internet sites, on social networks. But name is confusing, especially in English. Some people thinking it means graphic made by information technology. Others, and we do agree with them, thinking it means better something like informing graphics. My presentation will be about this last definition, for I must confess I don't know anything about information technology. Name being confusing, people tried another word recently, DATAVISION, meaning data visualization, and absorbing infographics into the more global concept of data journalism. DATAVISION being the graphic side of the concept, which is confusing too. Infographics dealing mainly with data, but not only, as news are not only about data. So I'll stay by infographics, if you don't mind. Names can be recent and not proper. Concept is very old. One could dare say infographics are among the oldest human concepts for basically first drawings and first scriptures are infographics. You see these? There are 5 sacks of wheat sacks, and 6 there, I think. I'm not sure of the translation. Nowadays, we could say infographics are visual features, a mix of feature and illustration. Graphic without script is no infographic, it's an illustration. Script without graphic is no infographic, it's a feature. Graphic with script is an infographic, like this. Very complicated one, but recent. You can't understand good infographics without script, means nothing, nor without graphic, nothing. Because it has to be a perfect mix. Script unable to perform without graphic, and graphic unable to perform without script. Pure lovers. Following chapter, what it demands. So let's be demanding and say infographics need more than this basic sentimental mix. In descending order, infographics needs sense. Infographics are no wallpapers, vain, beautiful things. The recent graphic trends go in that way. They have to pay the rent, to earn their living, and so they're made to show something. Like in advertisement, everything in infographics has to be meaningful. Choice of colors, typographies, illustrations. Second, intuition. Like in advertisement too, you can't ask infographics readers to spend time on it. Readers are true democrats. Their first look, their decisive look, lasts 1 or 2 seconds maximum. Photographs, feature titles, infographics have no more time to draw their attention. If readers don't catch easily what it is about, infographic is missed. But even if they decided to spend more than 1 second on it, which is growl, readers are not very patient and will quit at first slight difficulty. That's why everything in infographics must be read and understood very, very, very easily. If your 12 years old son doesn't understand your infographics quickly, as well as your 75 years old neighbor, try something else. It's missed. Language has to be very simple, like not a scientific language, but very fluent language. A child can read it. Second, third, hierarchy. You can't ask readers to find their way through your infographics. You have to choose what is more important, what deserves to draw the attention of the crucial first look, and what is less important. This difference must be obvious at first sight. 1 second. Recent graphic trends go against that, playing with the "where is Charlie" style. The more you're lost, the better. Let's say it's one of the possibilities, but only when you have in the same time a very good graphic designer, a very understanding publisher or webmaster, and readers liking to be lost in infographics, and they are still rare. And fourth, aesthetics. All the above qualities will be more efficient if infographics are made by a good graphic designer, knowing the importance of details and global harmony. But it's not so difficult, because compared with 20 years ago, there are plenty, now I must say, of good graphic designers on the world market. Plenty of young graphic designers, good. Following chapters, what is it for? What it has to be useful. Before all, be at ease, you don't always have to use infographics. Use infographics only when you have to show something. And remember, infographics are good at making numbers sexy, more sexy than that. At simplify things, though we know they're dead complex. And at attracting attention. Like, it's not my favorite monument, but it attracts attention. And now how to make it, the most difficult part. If you're still not sleeping, I'd like to list some very basic rules we try to respect when we're making infographics. There are different graphic tools and different datas. Every data doesn't suit every graphic tool. A part of maps, our daily bread, is made of 3 kinds of data: time series, distributions, comparisons. Time series are chronological data. You can represent them mainly by line charts, very classical, when number line is not from 0, you can note, or vertical histograms, when number line starts from 0. Please always from the left to the right, except for Hebrew or Arab readers, on the contrary. Stacked graphs are to be used with care. Only first and last lines are not distorted, so the readers can be easily lost. Second kind of data is distribution. Distributions show how a sum is distributed. You can represent them by pie charts, like the clock on the top. If parts are not too many, in French we delicately call them camembert. Or by horizontal histograms, like on the base, if there are too many, because pie charts with too many parts are not readable. And script can be easily put with that kind of chart. And third, the comparisons. Comparisons are same kind of data as compared. You can represent them more conveniently by horizontal histograms, accentuating the difference with chronological vertical histograms we've seen before. And now some reservations. First reservations, data is not the Graal. There are happy sectors of knowledge where you can prove everything you want by numbers. In the small country we're living in, there is this exotic and crucial question: is public employees' pay rising or not compared to inflation? Every time papers ask us to figure this data, we ask them first, what do you want to show? Rising or not rising? Because both are possible. Most of the times, papers from the left ask for not rising, please, and papers from the right ask for rising, please. And we do it. We're customers friendly. But let's make things clear and try to look professional. This is only because there is no consensus at all about this matter on the French data market. And governments, going from the left to the right and back again, were unable till now to choose bipartisan reference data about it. So that's why we do this. Second reservation, representation is easily biased. Infographics have many ways to distort or accentuate things. More simple way is the scale. About an employment chart line, when right is in charge, not like now, papers from the left will represent like it on the right. Very good rise. Cutting the scale to make the line more vertical. And like it on the left, not cutting the scale and making the line more horizontal when left is in charge, like now. Papers from the right will do exactly the contrary. Sad thing is both lines are true. So the question, how to be honest in this difficult matter, if there is some way to be honest in journalism. You see now clearly infographics can behave very badly. If infographics are not moral in se, the way out could be, let's try to be moral users of infographics. As you come from the scientific side, you're naturally moral, not like us. Like about this damned unemployment line. Important is not vertical or horizontal. Important is the tendency. All statisticians know that the number is nothing by itself, but gets some fragile relative value only by comparison with other numbers. In this order of things, choice of the period is crucial. If we look at the end of the line, unemployment rise seems dramatic and unique, like in this graphic by the French Labor Bureau. Do they know what propaganda is? No. If we extend the period, things become more complex and recent rise gets its true meaning. Harsh but cyclical rise. We hope in some month it will go down. François Hollande makes everything for that. And last chapter, infographics, we must not forget, infographics are humans making infographics. Because final rule before conclusion will be reread and reread your infographics if ever you made infographics, reread 10 times and make it reread by other people, and the most, the better. There is no such object as an infographic for attracting errors. Why? Because there are at least two persons in the process. And we know relationships are always complicated social objects. They are the editor, you, in the worst case, and the graphic designer. Bad configuration is when the editor, the woman on the left, doesn't know what she wants to show. She said, I've got these numbers, do something with it, whatever. Please do. And the graphic designer finds his way all alone. And it's a disaster. Normal configuration is when the editor knows what she wants to show. Which is, oh, these numbers and this rise, it's interesting. Please make something with it. And the graphic designer understands what the editor wants to show, which is not very easy sometimes. You have to repeat and make and verify and make it clear and go after and see, I think you understood. Oh, I know, not at all. Best configuration is when the editor knows what she wants to show and has some idea of how. It's a rise and you make a line, please, and very vertical or very horizontal or very whatever. And when the graphic designer understands what the editor wants to show, considers his idea of how, and uses his own talent to make something even better of it. Because editor may be very good, but she's not a graphic designer. And graphic designer can make something very brilliant of it, if he understands. And now my conclusion. In my long and boring career in this strange little sector, nobody ever invited me to tell things about infographics. I swear. This presentation is obviously a sign that infographics are kind of trendy now, since 2-3 years, which sounds ominous. And my final word would be a demand. Please consider and handle infographics with care. Powerful tools need user's manual and clear thinking of what we want to make with them. Thank you for your attention.